This food stall in our neighborhood, from which we get a Japanese bento box once per week, includes some type of sweet and sour cabbage salad, which we like so much that I would love to show you how to recreate it at home in this episode. All you need is about 900 grams or 2 pounds of cabbage, 2 carrots, 100 grams of sugar, 60 grams of salt, 1 cup white vinegar, as well as 1 or 2 medium red chili peppers and a few garlic cloves. We start by preparing the vegetables, for which we grab a big enough bowl and chop the cabbage in around 2-inch or 5cm thick blocks. I got a Chinese cabbage here, whose leaves were a bit on the thinner side. I suggest you get one of the big cabbage heads that are usually available in any supermarket and use half of it. Separate the layers from each other and transfer into the bowl. The outermost leaves will probably be a bit too big. Feel free to pull them apart. Halfway through, grab the salt, nut sugar and sprinkle half of it over the cabbage pieces. Cut off and discard the cabbage core and continue separating the remaining leaves. Follow up with cutting the carrots. I cut them in small bite-sized pieces, but you can finely slice or julienne them if you want to. That way, increasing the individual pieces' surface area, the carrots will soak up the sweet and sour pickle goodness better. Put everything into the bowl and use your hands to thoroughly and evenly distribute the salt with the vegetables. If you got any open wounds, please use gloves, otherwise it will be a painful endeavor. And in general, please keep your hands as well as utensils clean and fat-free. This will help you to prolong the shelf life of your final product. Once you made sure that all the veggies got in contact with the salts, cover them with a flat plate and place something heavy on top. Maybe the mortar and pestle that you bought a while back but never used. Any rock or brick, which you can cover in foil in order to not contaminate the vegetables, will do as well. Salting the cabbage will draw out some of the water, which will improve its final texture and flavor. Placing a heavy item on top can accelerate this process. An hour should suffice, otherwise the veggies might become too salty. Place the bowl in the refrigerator and let's move on to preparing our sweet vinegar brine. Grab your saucepan, add 2 cups or half a liter of water as well as the sugar and stir well till the sugar fully dissolved. Place the lid on top and bring to a boil. Now we turn off the heat, pour in the vinegar and stir in half teaspoon of salt. Using a clean spoon, feel free to taste the liquid. It should be rather sour with a touch of sweetness. Also, it shall cool down completely before we use it to pickle our cabbage, as we don't want to cook the veggies. Hence I suggest you leave the lid off. While that cools off and the cabbage is still marinating, let's slice up the red chili peppers, except its seedy parts, and finally chop the garlic. About an hour after having put the cabbage into the fridge, we get it out. Show the mortar and pestle our appreciation for its hard work before we put it back into the dark storage room. For the overnight pickling process, we will use these glass jars, and I highly suggest you do too. Metal containers may corrode due to the salt and vinegar. If you have none of these glass jars, think again. We are using empty and clean Heinz mayo containers here, and you might have something similar in your fridge or pantry that you're about to empty and throw away. Before we transfer the veggies into the jars, we want to pour away the water that was drawn out and wash off excess salt. I filled the bowl with cold water and drained twice. Take a bite. If too salty, wash and drain once more. Subsequently, place on a clean kitchen towel and squeeze out any extra liquid by hand before mixing in the chopped garlic and red chili. Now let's grab our clean utensils and transfer everything into the jars. I don't want to excessively repeat myself, but want to point out once more that keeping everything clean when pickling prevents bacteria growth and makes sure that your precious veggies won't spoil quickly. Okay, this fancy decoration tong doesn't really work, so just use your clean hands and give it a final squeeze with a spoon. Fully cover with the vinegar solution, which should have cooled down by now, put on the lid and shortly shake it. This way, the liquid will make it into all the gaps and nicely pickle every piece. Just make sure to pour some more in there so the vegetables are fully submerged again. Great, all that's left to do is being patient for at least 24 hours before serving. The longer you pickle the vegetables, the more flavorful they become. Unopened jars will be good for at least 2 months if kept in the fridge. When opened, a few weeks should be absolutely fine too, as long as the vegetables are submerged in the brine. But I wouldn't worry too much about its shelf life, as pickling was an essential method to preserve food before refrigeration and has been around for centuries. Moreover, I'm pretty sure that these sweet and sour pieces of crunchiness will be gone in no time anyways. I hope you give it a go and enjoy. Bon appétit!